We're done! Almost. I don't think you're ever done, but we're close. 3 or 4 months ago, we started by clearing some property and building a shop. A dream shop, actually. So it's a 32 by 72 foot shop. Half of it, a quarter of it's carpentry shop, the other is mechanical shop. And we are pretty close to being done. I got to do the outside. Weather's warming up. I got to put the battens on and stain it, and outside lights, a couple things like that, but most of it, and some sort of ceiling, but I'm not in a hurry. But everything else, done. We are in the carpentry side of it. So out of the 72 feet, I made 24, I put a wall at 24 feet and made 24 feet worth of carpentry shop. I also put behind me, you see a small room, and inside that room is, and I put a loft in here. And inside that room, inside this room, will be a sort of a bathroom. That's where the power and the water for the heating is. And then I got tools in here for carpentry shop. The bandsaw and the lathe were here when we got here. They were left here. I fixed the bandsaw because I'll use it. I doubt I'll ever fix the lathe. I've never even used one. So I got a cool little place over there for the crosscut saw, table saw, and the router, and I've used them a lot. And I've started putting together a dust extractor system, which is nice. So you see I've got plywood holders and I've got lumber holders and stuff. Upstairs we've got all kinds of storage. And I have to go up there and look for my ski helmet because I'm going to go skiing this weekend, I think. So now we are in the mechanic shop, as you can see, as my truck is in here because I have to fix the emergency brakes. And it's awfully nice to bring it in here. Although you do get dirty. I have to get a creeper so I'm not on the floor. But still, I'd rather be on the floor than outside in the mud. It's nice to have all my tools and everything in here because I've never had that before. It's really, really cool. So I've got good storage in here. These shelves were actually in the house when we got here, so I just brought them over here. So we've got lots of storage for shelves. I've brought in most of the rest of our lumber. There is extra concrete right here on the floor. If I ever want to put a car lift in here, I did put that concrete in here. I've got 2 opening doors. I've got a 16-foot opening door and a 12-foot opening door. Yeah, I'm super excited about this place. It's fun. The dotted lines you see are the outline of the barn of the shop. The batter boards, of course, the outside, that's what squares it up, but this is that's the footprint. And I've got to bring this all up to where those boards are. The whole level has got to be level with those boards. So what I'm doing is I've got a laser setting over there, and this tells me when I'm level, which is right there. So this right here is just about level with those batter boards. If I run a string across here, this would be the highest point. Some of these, that's 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches. So we've got another load of gravel coming. It's muddy. 3 months, dry weather. I'm very grateful. Give me all this time to do stuff, but now that I've started the shop, it's pouring. And we got Hurricane Helen or whatever it is coming up with gonna dump a bunch of rain maybe in 2 days. It's rained for the last 3 days ever since we started trying to put this footing down. So I've got 2 loads of rock on here now. 2, 3. I've got 3 loads of rock on here now. Feels like rain, but we're gonna get started playing in the mud. We had a tropical storm, sort of, Piddlin. Luckily, we didn't have much damage except we lost the shed over the sawmills. We had to disassemble that upside down yesterday, get all the bent screws and nails out of it. And now we're going to clean up the driveway, a lot of debris, but you know what? We were fortunate. And we live on top of the mountain, so all the water went downhill. And if you're watching the news, it's a mess. So, can I get back to it now?
You can get back to it now.
So we had 50, 60 mile an hour winds. Blew the cover over the sawmill upside down. I'm taking it apart right now because it's blocking the road. I'm sure we have trees down. Don't know where, but I'm sure there are. So, but hey, it's nice being on top of the mountain, that's for sure. I wouldn't want to be at the bottom of the mountain right now. Not with the way the water's running off of our mountain.
We're in a slave camp here.
In my inmate.
Yeah, your inmate clothes. So what you doing, Owen?
I'm digging holes.
Dig them holes.
I think we're digging many large holes for the structure of Miami's new workshop. And if you look, we dug the entire thing. We definitely did not use a big machine to dig it.
That's funny. I seem to have a bunch of video of an auger.
Well, you see, I got my winter hat on. It's 30 something outside. It's a little nippy. So this is an update on my shop. I can't wait to have my shop. It's going to be so nice to pull things in here and work on them with my tools right there and a nice heated floor. So this shop is 36 feet wide and 72 feet long. People go, oh, it's so big. You know what? If you start getting a truck and a tractor, the first 24 feet will be a wood shop. So that'll take quite a bit. You got parts rooms. You got all kinds of stuff. There's not much. It's not as big as you think it is. It looks big right now. So far we have poured all of the piers. So I think there's 24 of them. And then on each of these piers, we have these custom-made brackets. And in these custom-made brackets go these custom-made posts. These posts are 2x6 pine on the outside, and there's in between is sandwiched 2x6 poplar trees. From those poplars we cut down a couple of months ago and cut up on the sawmill. So this is all wood from our sawmill. So these are cut to a specific size. They will go in, well, tomorrow we'll start building the walls. So the walls will be in 2 different sections. We'll lay them down inside the barn, we'll build them, and then we'll stand them up. They'll be 16 feet high. And you want a rock? Here it goes. Oh, throws a rock. Bring a rock, throw the rock. So we'll stand the walls up, put them up. Hopefully trusses will be here. We got 36-foot wide trusses. Those are the A-frame pieces. If you don't know what those are, that the roof sit on, those will come tomorrow or the next day. I've cleared a space right over there for them. So we're making progress. Last week we were able to finally dig in the pipe for the heat. This pipe right here is 2 1-inch PEX tubes inside insulation, inside a cover that we buried all the way over to the boiler. If you haven't seen that video about the boiler getting installed, it's working great, by the way, in the house. So that pipe is up here. That pipe will come up right into the corner. That's where the manifold will be. So once we get the roof on and once we get the walls stabilized, then we'll come in and we'll add in 2 inches. We'll flatten this area out completely so it's completely flat. Then we'll add 2 inches of foam board insulation to keep the heat inside. On top of the foam board goes wire and then rebar, steel rebar, and then on top of the rebar we will tie 1/2-inch PEX piping, and it'll weave all the way around the floor. Then we'll pour 5 inches of concrete on top of that, and that's what will keep everything nice and toasty in the winter. So I'm hoping that we get this done enough to pour this concrete this year. If it gets too cold, we won't be able to pour the concrete till next spring. That would be a major bummer not to be able to have my shop this winter to work in. So I'm trying to push these guys to help me get this going, so we can get it started. Sure. So they built the posts last week. So those posts are all built. They're 2x6 pine sandwiched with a poplar in the middle of it because the poplar holds screws better. That's what they think. So I'm not going to argue with that. So this week, we had all the posts up, 24, 25 of them, all the posts up and leveled and plumb and everything. And then we put the first 3 girts on. Those are the cross boards on the outside. Those are called girts. And then we got the trusses, and we started putting the trusses on. So the first truss was the end truss. That was the hardest because there's nothing to support it up there. So we got that up, and then I think we put 3 trusses up, and then we started running braces on them. And then we got all the way to here, to this truss just before the 16-foot opening where our garage door is going to be. And then they started running the purlins. We got the beam in, that steel beam right there. We had to build a post that goes horizontally to fit in that beam to hold that end of that truss. So we got that in. That took almost a full half a day because it wasn't done correctly. We had to re-drill it and everything. So we got all that in, and then the last couple of trusses in yesterday or day before, and I think, and then today they just left. They finished all the purlins. So all the purlins are on. We are now ready for a couple of more girts we got to put on, and then we start. We put the strings back on, and we make sure the building is square. You would think with all of this it would be square, but it could be racked a little bit one way or the other, and if it's not square, when you go to put that roof on, your roof line's going to not match up. Your tin's not going to match. So they'll run strings, and then they'll put chains on the building and pull the building whichever way it needs to go. And once we get it square, then we'll go ahead and put cross braces, diagonal braces in each corner, and that will hold it square. Once we do that, the tin should be here first of the week. And then tomorrow we've got a little more plumbing, we've got a little more carpentry to do. These are the tail pieces. These go right there on each post, and they come out 24 inches, and and that's your overhang on this side and on the other side. You got an 18-inch overhang. You come out 24 inches, but you got an 18-inch overhang because the roof comes all the way down to there. So those go on, and then what's called the in-betweeners, and those are the boards that go in between. You see where that bolt is up there? It goes in between right there, and that's what the roof comes down and meets that. So yeah, a little more carpentry to do. I've been working on underneath the grunt stuff. That's what I get to do, the grunt stuff. That's those boards underneath that are to stop the concrete from coming out when we pour the concrete. Next week, we've got gravel coming. I'm starting to dig for some of the possible plumbing, just drains and things like that. I've got to dig ditches to lay the pipe in before we pour. I got to go pick up the insulation, the wire, and then rebar on top of that, and then pick up about 2,300 of PEX, half-inch PEX piping to run for the hot water heating. Ooh, can't wait.
Wipe the sleep from your eyes. Quit dreaming now, the sun is on the rise. And by the end of the day.
What type of wood are you cutting?
This is pine. This is the siding for the shop. That's what all this is. It's 1x8 siding.
Nice.
Tuesday morning, it's a beautiful morning. We're going to drill out and put all the bolts in. Here comes the crews.
Drill out and put all the bolts in what?
Into these plates, into these posts. The trusses will be here at 10 a.m. supposedly. Big deal. We're going to start putting trusses up today. That's going to look cool. So, getting close to having a roof on. All the way on the top there, you see those boards, those 2x4s on end. Those are called purlins. The purlins are what the tin will screw down to. So those purlins are on end because they're a lot stronger that way when you're walking up there. And then there's 2x6 either side of the ridge cap. So when they put that last piece of tin on either side and the cap on, you know you're going to hit those. These are on the 2-foot centers are exact, so they know exactly where those are. So when they put the tin in, they know exactly where the screws go, and they've got those just straight as can be. These lower ones will get more just kind of not random, but you get ties like this one, this one, this one, and then this one, and then this one. They put those in when they put the trusses on this weekend. I'll get the kids up. Some boys up with me, and we will add some of those up there. We drilled and put all the bolts up in the top of the posts, so you can see that when those trusses set down in between the two 2x6s up there, then they're screwed and through bolted onto the top. So you really have to have a heck of a wind to do any damage here for sure. So the purlins, these are girts, the 2x6s that go all the way around. So they're all the way all around. We don't put the top girt on until we get all of the rafters on, or trusses. I keep saying rafters, but they're trusses. And then once the trusses are in, then we'll put in the last 2 posts and build the end wall. So the tin will be here. I'll probably go pick up the tin next week. I'll also go pick up the insulation. There'll be 2-inch insulation. So I'm gonna put the bathroom, I'm gonna move the bathroom, I'm gonna put that in this corner over here because I might end up putting a stairs up there and then put a landing right across that. I'd be able to stand up inside of that bay if I wanted to. So that could be storage someday. So if I put the mechanical and the bathroom and everything right there, that will be out of the way. And then I've just got to put plumbing in there and run it out the back. What I'm going to do with it yet, I don't know, but I've got to figure that out soon. So, tiring day. It's long days. Going through a lot of lumber. My lumber piles are getting smaller, which is a good thing. And so we should make good progress tomorrow. You can see those piles are gone. That was there was a pile right there of 100 2x4 by 12s that I cut into 10 footers because those go up for the purlins across each one. So there's a pile of 8 to 10 purlins in each bay. And here, there. So that whole pile went. And then that pile is the rest of the girts for inside and outside. And yeah, so we're moving right along. There's the steel beam and the ledger boards on top of it. So now the trusses, there's 4 trusses left. Put those up tomorrow. We had a terrible time with the beam. Holes weren't drilled right. So truss goes from right there and we will build, it'll set right there on top of there on brackets on top of that beam, and then we'll set the other ones, and then we finish running the purlins up on the top. The bracing will run this weekend while they're off. We've got purlins stacked ready to go. Last one coming up. The rest of them are up. Got the last 2 posts in. And we'll set this last truss. Cool. So we've had a good week. It's been beautiful. It's cold in the morning, warm in the afternoon, so it's been perfect for doing this. And I'm just praying that weather holds for another 2 weeks so we can get concrete in. Sunday morning, we are trying to catch up for the crew that's coming back this week. This is a big week. We should have a lot of the siding on this week, and the roof is going on this week. So the family helped yesterday, Saturday. They helped yesterday. We put up a couple of corners of siding. That was interesting. And we put a lot of the fillers in between the posts. So it's amazing how much time this stuff takes, but we are moving. It is getting done, and I can't wait for heated floors in a workshop. first one right, all the rest of them are wrong.
Going up.
Going up.
Wipe the sleep from your eyes. Quit Start dreaming now, the sun is on the rise. And by the end of the day, this dusty room will be 1,000 miles away. Once heard it said in a song, best keep to traveling on. Ride 10 deep into town. Another night of setting up and breaking down. And if we leave here tonight, we'll be halfway to Barstow by daylight. I'll take the wheel if you start to yawn. Just keep to traveling on. Can barely stand on 2 feet. Callous fingers tap my weak and shaky knees. At least I can rest my mind. Find some comfort in those yellow and white lines. They've been there all along. Keep to traveling on. Tell me, what is this place? Countless people, but not one familiar face. It's not so bad, I suppose. Starting over every time I change my clothes. Even here I'm all but gone. Best keep to traveling on. Big wheels turning home a lonely song. Best keep to traveling on. Best keep to traveling on.
Oh, that's my last 16-foot cant that I can get any 2x8s out of. I've got a couple of little ones, and I'm not gonna have enough to finish the barn. So I've got, there's a door, big door goes right there, but I need a couple to the right there, and then I need some on the back. So we pour concrete tomorrow. I've moved all the trailers, kind of flattened it a little bit. The radiant heating is all in. The manifolds are all in. They've got the machines in here ready. They're gonna pour half of it tomorrow on this side. Pour this side, we'll pour this side on Wednesday. It's supposed to snow. They're calling for snow Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so we gotta get her done. See the muscles on that 70-year-old? Yeah. So we got to hand dig under here. This is drains. There'll be just a simple drain there and a drain there. This is just for washing. If I ever wash a car or something, I get water and snow melt. I don't know, but at least then I can push it in the drains and wash it out. And then we've got what could be a bathroom someday, maybe. Those are in. Now we need to cover those up, and then we start leveling. I got the insulation. I got the wire. We level. We put gravel in here. We tamp it down. Then the plastic, then the wire, then the foam insulation, then the rebar, then the PEX, then the concrete. Concrete next Friday, hopefully. Shovel and rake, shovel and rake, shovel and rake. Saturday afternoon. We've got gravel in, pretty much leveled. Waiting for somebody's gonna bring me a vibrator. No, yeah, a vibrator to start tamping this down. So we'll have to go over it a couple times. I've got sprinkler on it. We dug out the holes for the lift this morning, so those are 4 feet square, and those will be for extra support for lift legs in case I ever put a car lift in here. I brought the truck in this morning, had to maneuver around the drain lines there. I brought the truck in here, so the truck would sit right in there. On that wall right there will be a wall. On that post right there will be a wall coming across. So I can just get the truck into that corner, and that's where the lift would sit if I build one. Got to put it in now. Oh, here comes the sprinkler. So we're getting everything wet so we can start tamping down. We are pretty much level. We've checked it. We're within an inch or so everywhere. I don't know how close you got to be, but we'll tamp it down and see what happens then. Oh, yeah, it's looking good. Looking like a floor almost in here. It's so much easier to walk with the gravel, the fine gravel, than that rock. That rock was just tough to walk on. I can't wait to cover up the rock everywhere and put some nice gravel down. So, yeah, it's looking good. Hold moisture from coming up and heat from going down. So 2 inches of foam on top of this. So we get all this laid out, and we'll go find some foam. Got the crew. We're trying to get all this PEX piping down before, because the concrete guys will be here first thing in the morning to start forming up so they can pour on Monday. They got a lot of forming up to do. So yesterday we finished laying all the green board, and then we laid Owen helped laid all of the 3/8 inch rebar. That's the rebar you see laid down, the long pieces. Then I came back and laid down all of the wire. These are 5 by 10 foot pieces of wire that cover the whole thing. And then this morning I came in and cut all these pieces of rebar, this 3/4 inch rebar over there. I cut the little pieces like this, and I put that underneath it. That's called chairs, and that holds it up a little bit off the bottom so it gets into the concrete. So now we're laying this on 1 foot centers. There's 9 zones, there's 9 bays, and we're gonna just run it as fast as we can so we can get it done for these guys. The sun's out. That's a good thing because it was cold this morning. It's too cold to finish. So this is Sunday afternoon, and I am going through the final stage of before the concrete trucks come tomorrow, and putting wire ties down on these pipes so they won't float up. The concrete guy tells me that this vibrating machine right here, they run this thing on the rails. When this thing starts vibrating the concrete, the rock all settles to the bottom, which I guess, I don't know why you wouldn't want the rock all the way through, but the rock settles to the bottom, and then it can lift these pipes up closer to the surface. So I've got to go through every line and add tie downs to them, and it was too cold this morning to do it. So we're going to pour this first half tomorrow, then the second, give this a day to dry, this half second on Wednesday, and on Thursday it's supposed to snow. Thursday, Friday, Saturday they're calling for snow and cold weather. So this is like a wizard is always perfectly on time, hopefully, that we're going to be able to get this done. I've got pressure on the pipes, and it dropped from 50 to 20 pounds overnight, which means I got a tiny itty bitty leak somewhere in one of the fittings. And I probably won't find that until I put water to it. So, because I cannot find it with soapy water. Oh, I'll just keep on here now that the weather has changed for the better a little bit. Get her done. Well, there goes the floor of my workshop. So we have half a pad. That was actually what was left over. We have half a building full of concrete and a bit of a muddy mess. But we do have, it's kind of dark, everybody just left, but we have half a concrete pad. So we are not polishing this. So you will see lines in it, because if we polished it, which is that machine right there, if we use that machine, it gets much smoother, but it gets really slick. And if you have oil on it or water on it, it gets really slippery. Tomorrow they're going to come and take out, we've got to take out all that bracing. All that bracing holds these boards on in the middle for the machine to ride on. They've got to take out all of that bracing, and then a little more work down on the end to stop concrete from going out. So all the pipes did hold pressure today, thank the Lord. Phase 2. Concrete was done. Phase 3?
Yeah, this is the third video.
Oh, okay, third video, but phase 2 of the building, really, because now we're roofed in, mostly sided. It's snowing. Do you see the snow? I don't know if you can see it, but it's supposed to snow a ½ inch today. That's why I look like I'm dressed for an Eskimo, because it's chilly. So yesterday we poured the second half of the floor. So there is 50 yards of concrete in that building, and it's supposed to freeze tonight, so we got to get heaters in. I'm trying to wrap it all up. You can see behind me I got tarps on the doors and everything, trying to close it in as much as I can. But the concrete's all done. There was no leaks in the radiant floor heating, so that's good. So next steps are I got to start all over with a new thinking process. Gutters go on first of next week. We're putting in the main power panel and running power over, or remind me to call the electric company, running power over from the pole, doing away with the temporary pole so I can get power for the pumps for the floor heating. So I can have hot concrete. That will go in December 10th. I've got to order the pumps and all of that stuff. We talk about that in another video. Then we'll start thinking about ceiling. We'll start thinking about insulation. I've ordered lights. I've ordered doors. They'll be here in 3 weeks. The 2 overhead doors. I'm making the 3rd door. So, and we'll get the pedestrian doors in. They're here. We'll get them in hopefully right after Thanksgiving. Everybody's gone till Thanksgiving because it's deer season. Watch out, deer! Here they come. This is the insulation I use. I came across this company. Just stumbled on them. I called and asked for somebody to call me. They called me the next day, which today is impressive. And I talked to the guy who actually either started this or he runs a company in Texas. It's the only place you can buy it. It's insulationforless.com, I think is the thing. This is called Prodex, what did I say, 10M, I think. And what it is, it's got 2 radiant barriers, either side of about 3/8 inch of foam. And so you've got the foam insulation, plus you got the radiant barrier on both sides. And they glue together. These are glued together, these 2 pieces. You just use a heat gun and it glues together. So up in the ceiling and on a lot of the walls, because they're on 8-foot centers, I needed 8 feet wide. So I glued them together, and then the rolls are 84 feet long. So I was able to glue 84 feet, stretch it out on the floor, glue them, cut them into sections like I needed 36 feet here, cut 36 feet off, and do the whole ceiling. And drop it and do 13 feet on the floor, from the floor to the ceiling. It boggles my mind that insulation less than a 1/2 inch thick can be anywhere near as good as rock wool, which is 6 inches thick. But, you know, it seems to be holding the heat in here. I've got it all in now. I need to do a better job up the top for vapor barrier. I need a vapor barrier up there. But other than that, it seems to be doing well. It'll hold temperature in here overnight pretty much. When it's 10 degrees outside, it'll hold it at 50 in here. If you're looking at insulation, I would definitely go look at Prodex. Here's what he told me. He said, have you ever seen them use 6-inch wool insulation in the space capsules? No, they use this kind of thing. And there's a reason for that. And I went, that makes sense. So we give it a shot and see what happens. And it's less money than rock wool. A lot easier to handle, very light. Right? Very light, easy to handle, easy to use. So it's worked so far for us very good. I will put this in our house when we rebuild the house. First sheet of insulation is up. So I'm gonna go from up to that top girt right there. I gotta leave a space behind it so that the air can come up between those 2. So the air's gotta come up behind that and then up through the roof. So we'll go to that girt, and then the top insulation will nail to that girt or that purlin, and then down on top of that, but not on that top girt there, so the air can get up behind it. That's what'll stop condensation from getting behind the wall. So I finished this one this morning. I put it up last night, and when I was doing this right here on the bottom, the cold air was really running out of there. So it tells you how much air that's holding behind it, which is super nice. So we'll pull these out, 13 feet, 4 inches. I think that worked out well. We may go 13.3 because it pushed in a little bit there. 13 feet, 3 inches. We take the heat gun and glue these 2 sides together. This middle, we just glue it. Makes an 8-foot sheet and put it up. Let's get her done. and I've got the air gap. So you're supposed to have an inch air gap. So I've got an inch air gap behind it. Oh, yeah, cool. It's Tuesday morning, and we see I got that done last night. Yesterday, got that one. It's harder than it looks because you've got to. I've got just shy of 8 feet in between there. This is 8 feet, so to get enough to staple on either side, you got to have that thing right in the middle, and it's got to stay in the middle all the way down. And when the roll is hanging down, it's hard to move. I ended up taking a board and stapling it on the end of the board and then pulling the board as tight as I could and screwing it to the end and trying to pull as tight as I could and then work it from there. That worked better. So now I've got the next rolls laid out and glued together. Now I'm going to measure them. I'm going to cut them off at 37 feet. That'll give me I might go 30. It's 36 feet. So I may go, actually I should go 38 feet. Give myself a little extra on either end. I had to add a piece there. Give myself a little extra on either end to come down to meet the other piece. So yeah, the idea here is to get this done as quick as possible on the roof anyway, on the ceiling, over the overhead, keep the heat in. It's going down to 16 again in a couple of days. It's a little chilly this morning, it's 32, but it's going up to 60. So yeah. See what we can get done today. All right, running the last rows of boards here at the top of the windows. It's going pretty good. You can see how the insulation is. Tacked it all along here. I'm feeling for air, and I don't feel any cold air coming in here anywhere. All right, Saturday afternoon by myself. I got that insulation in, and look what I got in. Oh, you can't see it. There's a window right behind there. You'll see it in a minute. I'm insulating right there, but I put a window in. About killed myself. I fell off that scaffolding there. Not the scaffolding, but I had a ladder up on the table I used to cut with the chop saw right there, and oh, that's stupid. So I'm trying to get insulation up everywhere I can. So I have glued 4 pieces of insulation together, and going sideways on the end because they're over 10 feet, and 2 is 8 feet, 3 is 12 feet, and then it is a little over 12 feet high, so I've got to glue another piece, 2-foot piece on the end of it. But that's where I am right now. I'm putting this piece up right here, but I've got to, before I do that, I had just set this little cutting table up temporarily, and of course I had screwed a leg into the posts. So I have to add a little leg for a post, temporary leg, so I can cut those. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And once I get this insulation in, block that hole up there off, and then the last one is that one. That one's pretty bad too up there. So once I get those two, that's a big part of it. We're holding 52 degrees here, and I don't think the pump's on. It's 30 degrees outside. Yeah, we're holding 52. Pump's not even on, so it's doing a great job. So yeah, let's get her done. Lunchtime on Sunday. It's 19 degrees outside. It's 51 in here. Very nice. I do have the insulation around the new window, and I did get some insulation on the top of the door. And I have now made the frame, got the frame up there for the second window, which will go there. So now I can put the frame up, now that I know it works, put the frame up, and then I can go ahead and insulate all around the frame. So now I'm gonna try to get insulation down behind that, all the heating and the panel, because there's a lot of air coming in right there. So let's get her done. Lumber for the walls, garage doors are in, everything is insulated. Those are frames up there that these windows I built are going into. Let's see, what else? Insulation's all in. It's 55 in here today with the floor. This metal, this roofing was here when I got here. There was a lot of it. So I'm cutting that up and using that 4 feet up, and then on top of that will go the lumber. So there's 2 windows ready to go in up there, but I need help to get those in. So those are going to go in, that's going to go in this afternoon. And then I move all this lumber over against the wall, do this wall, and then I've got to bring in the other storage. Everything's over at the new house. I got to bring it over. So I framed in for the storage room and the bathroom there, potential bathroom. And I've got these, there's 1 window in right there. That's what it looked like. And I'm starting to set up the shop a little bit. So yeah, and I got the doors finished yesterday. So yeah, moving along, come help. We appreciate you guys watching this. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope you hit that like button and subscribe.